Good morning everybody. This is Puttanna H, English lecturer, Department of English, Soundarya, Institute of Management and Science, Bangalore. Today I would like to bring out a very important message that the homecoming son. Homecoming son, it is one of the first, the poem prescribed by the Bangalore University for 4th Sem BCA students. The title of the poem, it is about homecoming son. See here, the poet T.G. Medan is basically born and brought up in Ethiopia, and he was one of the best writer in English. The poem brings out a message that for everyone, motherland is more superior and more sacred and only for anyone else on this earth, because the motherland plays a very important role for every individual, because it gives a birth to a human being, and it is a place where a person has born and brought up and even the rendered his service till the last breath. See here the title of the poem, Homecoming Son. The poet brings out a message that once a strange person from Ethiopia who had been to the European countries for work, and there he has become a lonely, and he is going to forget about his culture, his tradition, his the tradition and even customs of his own country. Because here the poet speaks about how an individual who travels abroad and who is going to forget his own culture, tradition, customs in a foreign land. See, this is one of the best example. The poet in the entire poem has been divided into the 5 stanzas. In the very first stanza of the poet speaks about how a stranger who has been living in an unknown country or a foreign country, and see, nobody is going to identify him, whether he has a very rich tradition, culture, customs, and his own the language, and his own the history of the knowledge. But one day the poet says that a person from Ethiopia who has been to European countries for employment opportunity, and there he has become a very ordinary person, and he has become one among the several other people in the country. But when he comes back to his native country, and there the people are going to gather, and they are going to surround him, and they are going to welcome him with lot of love and affection, thinking that he is coming from another planet. Because here, because motherland, it is one of the best land for everyone in this world, because it has given birth, it has given shelter, food, education and employment opportunity. That's why here there is a message that a person who has been abroad for job or employment opportunity, and who has been considered as an unknown person, a stranger in the foreign land, but when he comes back to his home country, where the people, the kids and kins, and even the relatives and all the people of his own country is going to welcome him, and with lot of the love and affection, pride, with the flowers and even garlands. See here, because especially Ethiopia, it is a land of history, tradition, culture, and even their own the culture and customs. Because see, when this man comes back to his native country, the people are going to gather and they are going to sing several traditional songs and welcome him like a very, the very known person. And see, this is the difference between when a person who lives in abroad or who lives in a foreign land, when he flies back to his home country, and how he is going to receive him with lot of love and affection. So here, in the foreign land, he has been treated as a stranger, and no one bothers about him, and no one cares about him. But when he comes back to his own country, and there, he has been welcomed with red carpet, with lot of songs, and even especially it is a land of history, it is a land of culture, and it is a land of tradition. And see, there the people are going to play the traditional music like tom tom, and that is also one of the the spectacular the drum sound of the traditional people of Ethiopia. So they are going to sing the songs, and at the same time they are going to dance in front of this the stranger, and who had been to foreign land for the employment opportunity. When he comes back to his country, how the people of his own country is going to welcome him, and with lot of love and affection. And see, in the second and the third part of the poem, the poet brings out about the spirits of ancestors, the age-old people, because it was Ethiopia, it was a land of tradition, culture, and even customs. Even the strangers, parents, grandparents, and the ancestors, they were born and brought up, and they have become a part and parcel of their own culture and tradition. So the third part of the poem, that is Medan, he brings out a message that no one in the world is much more happier unless and until when he comes back to his own country. So here is a message. A stranger and who was staying in a foreign land for several years, but there he could not be identified by anyone. Even he could not show his the rich culture, tradition, customs, and other the values to the foreign people. But when he comes back to his own country, the people of his own country is going to welcome him, and they are going to beat the drums, they are going to sing different musical instruments and welcome him. So by this way, the stranger, that is a Ethiopian who went abroad for employment opportunity, he is going to enjoy a utmost bound of happiness when his own people of his own country welcome him. So at the concluding part of the poem, the poet Medan, he brings out a very important message that, and see, a stranger is going to enjoy his utmost bound of happiness unless and until, as long as he lives and survives and wins the heart of his own citizens of his own country. So here is a message, because when he was living in a foreign land, nobody is going to identify him, recognize him, and nobody is going to take care of him. But when he comes back to his own country, everyone in his locality, they are going to welcome with beating drums, singing songs, and wearing traditional dress, and even including grandparents and the family members and all the villagers, they are going to welcome him with red carpet. By this way, we come to know that for a stranger, the stranger who has forgotten his own country only because of his employment opportunity, but when he comes back to his country, then he is going to realize that his country is a land of rich culture, tradition, and a lot of the ancestral the culture and tradition in his own country, legacy, because the Ethiopia, it is the land of ancestors' legacy, where he can work, he can walk with lot of pride and with lot of dignity, because maybe he could not walk in the foreign land because he was going to work as a ordinary labor or an employee. But when he comes back to his home country, there he can walk with lot of pride, and there he walks with a lot of proud dignity and esteem, that he can boast his own the country's culture, tradition, language, music, the people, and even all the the traditional dress. So by this way we come to know that the entire poem, that is T.G. Medan, he brings out that the foreign country where it is only a job creator but not a soul winner, because the native land where he was born and brought up, his family members, his parents and his ancestors and his relatives were all living in his own country. There is a place where he can live with lot of dignity, respect, self-esteem, and with lot of the concern. So this is a message that foreign land is only for foreigners, but the homeland, it is only for the people of home country. So here, okay, this is a poem, and brings out a message that say stranger is going to enjoy, and when he comes back to his own country, but when he was living in a foreign land, when he was working for salary, but he could not enjoy his life because he could not walk wherever he wants. He could not show his self-esteem, because when he comes back to his country, he can boast himself, he can speak about his language, he can speak about his the culture, tradition, and which was built by his own ancestors. Okay, so I hope that all of you have understood well, and this is the message about the poem Homecoming Son. Okay, thank you very much. Wish you all the best of luck for your forthcoming examination.